Welcome to the podcast, A Drink with Derek. Follow comedian Derek Richards on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and don't forget to subscribe to his YouTube channel and watch all episodes of the podcast. Now grab a drink and join your host, Derek Richards.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from Las Vegas at the LA Comedy Club, please welcome to the stage, Butch Bradley.
The rides in Vegas are not fun. They're not. They're scary. They're terrifying. My girl talked me into that insanity. She's like, let's go on the rides. I went on the rides, but as soon as it locked me up, I tried with all of my strength to stop it. Sir, you look like a creepy serial killer. I just thought I'd point that out right away. This is why I don't stop on the road. You know what I mean? I'm sure you're not that person, but like when I'm driving and I'm on a long trip, I pull and I go, I want a nap, and then I picture you going, good, he's sleeping. Sir, don't look back. Look at my complexion in the desert. I don't even like to look out. Like, I'm afraid, like, if I peek, maybe the sun will see me and be like, I gotcha. Cancer, right there. Seriously, you had to look back, right? You didn't trust me, you were frightened. You do not have to fear him unless you're on the side of the road. His powers don't work here.
Hey, it's A Drink with Derek. Derek Richards, your host. My guest, who you just saw the trailer for his special, currently on Amazon Prime, recorded at the Stratosphere, now called the Strat in Las Vegas, where you can find my guest Thursday through Monday, Strat in Las Vegas, 10 p.m. each night. Get out there, see the show. Also, you've seen him on HBO Comedy Central. He works all over the country, all over the world. We'll get to that here in a minute. And again, special on Amazon Prime through, it's called Live from Las Vegas, correct?
Yes.
Butch Bradley, live from Las Vegas. And you're also in a brand new movie about Reagan with Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, really?
That is so badass. We'll get to that here in a second, man. Dude, first off, and by the way, he is also the partner of an amazing woman who makes salsa. Carla's Homemade Salsa. Yeah. Phenomenal. Thank you for bringing that a couple weeks ago. That was incredible.
It is. It's absolutely unbelievable.
You brought the mild one, and I tried it, and I'm like, this has got some kick to it. And I should have known because the label literally has a little caricature, yes, of your girlfriend with a little flame coming out of her ass.
It does. It does. It's got. So what's funny is, I was not like a salsa dude. I'm the kind of guy that had like 5 beers, goes to 7-Eleven and gets that fake stuff, and then I'd be like, ugh. And then she starts cooking and introducing me to real Mexico City homemade salsa. And first of all, the real stuff takes like 3 to 5 hours to make, you know, and she's making it. I can't enter the room. My eyes, it feels like I got maced by a SWAT team. And then all of a sudden I'm like, look, I probably won't be able to do this. It looks crazy what you're building in here. And, you know, I feel like we're in a lab in Wuhan and the future of the world changes next week. But, you know, she puts a little on. Dude, the first time I had her salsa, I was suffering a little because I was new, but I couldn't stop. Then I put it on eggs, the verde on eggs. I put the rojo on. Dude,
it's addictive.
Everything.
It's super addictive. It really, really is. Well, and I had asked you, I said, hey, because we were working at the Comedy Cellar a couple weeks ago, and you brought it in for everybody. Phenomenal. And I said, hey, does she have a more ramped up version? And you said, yeah, she just, you know, she makes it, you know, in batches, you know, on certain days.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the peppers. And what's the line that your girl says about peppers?
I always go, is this going to be hot? And she goes, you have to remember, there is no honor among peppers, you know? And I'm like, what the hell does that mean? Like, you're just going to stare at me to see if it's hot? You know what I mean? So, and it's funny because she'll take a big spoon and come for me. She goes, tell me if this is hot, if it's good. And I look at her like, how did I become that guy, you know? Because I'm always waiting for the explosion because I have levels, you know, I don't want to get crushed. But
right.
Yeah, she makes a brava for the very rare and brave that, you know, you see like, sorry, I'm going to put the dogs off, Fessel Brew away. But Platz. That was German for I love you.
Wow, look at this. I'm picking up something.
Yeah. So the Brava is what we're going to whip up, a Derek Richards Brava. And
I can't wait.
Only comedian Freddie Correa wanted it. It's very, very hardcore traditional Mexican. It's incredible, but literally a drop is enough for me. But he murdered the whole jar of Brava. And I seriously am like, how are you walking? Like, how are you alive? Like, it is so delicious, but you got to have a hot level of, you have to have the hot level.
You do. My girlfriend's like that. She loves like the ghost pepper stuff, habanero. I mean, she loves the stuff. So that's why when you were telling me about it, you were giving me the warning, because I know you always end up talking to people that are like, I like hot. And then they try a little bit of this, and then they're in the bathroom and their ass explodes. And they're like, well, no, I don't want it this hot. But no, I mean, I can't wait. I cannot wait to try this batch. And
you know what's funny? I know the fake stuff is what causes that weird problem, because I'm like, babe, how come I've never felt sick from you? She's like, because it's all natural. It's all incredible. She goes shopping and these ingredients are sizzling in the other room, and it's not additive, pepper. Who knows what they're putting in to create heat? It's not natural.
No, well, you and I were talking about that because we both like to cook and we both like having stuff. I like seeing what's going in my food. That's why I like making it. So
I'm like steak, pork chops, salmon, grill guy. I think this complexion came with the white stereotype of like a cooler filled with beers and my ability to flip a steak and go, hey, I'm a cook. Hey, happy 4th of July. But, give me a beer. Where the fuck is my beer? But she's a cook. She's a cook. You know what I mean?
That's so badass.
Like, dude, I'm talking 3 to 5 hours flipping this, moving this, spinning that, like just tasting it. And that's what, I just learned so much from the process, because I'll pour it on eggs and everything. And everyone's loved it. Dude, Kid from Kid and Play loves her salsa. I'm like,
it's good as hell.
You're getting more hits on Instagram on your salsa than I get on years of putting into one piece of material. I get up there and grind my soul, and I get 32 hits. And she's got somebody in England at Penny Lane going, bloody A, this is the best salsa I've ever had. If the Beatles were here, they'd sing about it, And I
love it.
So
that's cool as hell. Well, you were talking about your complexion and being out there with like a cooler beer and flipping steaks. I mean, I can't believe that you haven't been cast as like, say, one of Whitey Bulger's sidekicks. You look like, I know you're from New Jersey, but you look like Southie Boston. Like in a second, like I could see you in the little Scully cap and a black trench coat and getting out of a Cadillac and just walking into a bar, Sullivan's, and just with a bat and just busting the fucking place up. I think that would be the perfect role for you.
I want that role.
How has that not been given to you? And you end up in this movie now, and I want to talk about this because we were talking about it a couple of weeks ago. Movie coming out about Ronald Reagan, and it's just called simply, what is it? Just called Reagan? Is that correct?
It's called Reagan, yes.
Okay. With Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid plays Ronald Reagan, and Penelope Ann Miller plays Mrs. Reagan.
Now, how did you end up getting this role, and what was your role in this? Because you were talking about the interaction that you had with him. So tell me what the role is that you have and how the scene evolved that you guys ended up doing together.
Well, what's really cool is this fits so perfect for here because, look, people chase their dreams to do whatever. I chase my dream to be a stand-up comic. Then we do everything we're supposed to. We audition. Maybe we get into a showcase club like the Laugh Factory or the Comedy Store or the Cellar in New York or Gotham or whatever. We hope someone sees us. We grind. We're funny. Maybe we get a 5-minute Comedy Central. Then we get if we ever get a special, we get a special. But maybe we're seen and then someone goes, I want you to play the cab driver in a movie. Well, I was on a dead Tuesday night at the Strat before they dumped the $250 million into it here in Las Vegas. It looked more like, Atlantic City where I grew up, where like crazy, like sort of run down. I'm on my show. There's no one in the audience. The room seats about 160. And this is, about 2.5 years ago. And I gave myself a conversation, a pep talk. I go out there, be loose, have fun. Who cares? Riff, play, be an adult. This is what you want to do. So what? There's 35 people out there. I go out, I have fun, I get loose. I'm murdering, having a blast with all of them. As I come off stage, I look to the left, and anybody that's been in Hollywood or New York for years, I saw industry. They're staring at you, and they're not really laughing, but they're like, huh. And there's this big Irish dude with this big waft of hair, like this big. He's like 6'5", 6'6". He's got a waft of hair. And I'm like, oh, and I recognize one gentleman, Eric Audet, a friend of mine, a poker pro, an actor, a stuntman. And I'm like, oh, Eric's here. This is weird. I go behind the curtains because I don't like have a traditional green room door.
Right.
And I go, I should listen. But I literally told myself, you might hear something that causes you deep pain in your soul. And I went, I'm doing it. And I listened, and I hear the guy go, I love this guy. His improv's ridiculous. We have to work with him. He's incredible. And I stuck my head out the curtain, and I went, I'm so glad I listened to that. They laughed. We connected. Yeah. Right. It would have been great if I stuck my head out and he went, that was too much. Thanks anyway. But
yeah, we were better talking behind your back. Now that you're here, beat it.
I stood in front of this guy. He stands up. It's Sean McNamara, the director of Soul Surfer. He's done a million TV shows, a million movies, but he's really known for Soul Surfer with Dennis Quaid. And he stands up and he goes, what do you want? And once again, I heard another voice that said, here's your opportunity not to beat around the bush. Tell him what you want. And I was so excited the way he yelled at me with all this power looking down on me. I was like, I need a special. And he was like, we're going to make it. And I was like, okay. And then it was crazy, dude.
Everyone's around you is looking at you acting like yes, okay,
weird.
We're going to do it. And they're like, you guys got to go. I don't care if you're on the show and you paid. You got to get the hell out of here.
And side weird note for any poker player in the world, this is so cool because poker helped me get my comedy special. They were there meeting with Doyle Bronson and his daughter to film a documentary story about Doyle Bronson and his life. And they had time to kill. And Eric said, my buddy's a comedian. Let's go peek at him. And Doyle Bronson's daughter was with them just to show you how sometimes life just has to line up. You get those moments. Yep. The next morning at 9 a.m., my phone rings. And he's like, we're at Aria. I need you here. Once again, I happen to be sober in this period of my life. So I am up at 8 a.m. And I'm like, thank you, God. Because normally I would have found that message at 1:30 p.m. when they were on the airplane and it never happened.
Right.
So I go, yeah, I'll be right there. Still didn't want to move at 9 a.m. But sober or not, I was like, fuck 9 a.m. But I showered. Yeah. Almost caused me to drink. All right. Too much. I get dressed, jump in the car, shoot to Aria, talk to them for hours about TV, movies, all these. They discovered Shia LaBeouf. They've discovered all these people. It was really exciting. They came, got together, and they bring to the table Todd Fisher, Carrie Fisher's brother from Star Wars. All these people wanted to help me because they love stand-up. They made the special live from Las Vegas. I did 4 hours. I'm known for my improv. I started in a group called The Id in Boston. Guys like Dane Cook, Bill Burr, Patrice O'Neill would all jump in with us. Me, Al Del Benny, Brett Duggan, Ben Jones were the Id in Harvard Square. And it always stayed with me. I just always been improvisational because I didn't know stand-up comics wrote jokes. I thought we made it up every night. Found out 3 years later I needed to start writing. Now we're at this moment in time.
Well, way to ruin the magic for everybody.
Right. So
sorry, audience.
Right.
He took you underneath Disney and you just saw Mickey with his head off having a cigarette. You just now found the secret.
Yeah. Don't, if you're going to be a stand-up comic, don't write anything for 3 years. It'll help you if you survive. But, well, my improv was so strong, I would do well for about 40 seconds and eat it for 6-7 minutes. And then guys were like, I saw them with the little note card and I go, are you guys writing? And they went, of course we're writing. They go, you didn't know? And then they all laughed. And they're like, that's what it is. You're really coming to stage every night with new material. And I go, so I started piecing together pieces that would carry my improv. And that's how my style sort of happened to be.
But which is so cool because that evolved into you obviously getting the special and then being seen to work in this movie.
Which is where we are. So I get a call from a woman who says she's with the Reagan movie. What size is my suit? What size are my shoes? I always think it's one of you. It's Derek Richards. It's Bob Marley. It's Tony Rock. I think it's one of you. And I go, right. Now, this is like literally.
Yeah, because we are douchebags to each other. That's exactly the shit that we would do. Oh, yeah.
COVID. This is July of COVID. I'm like, going to the gym. June, I had a meltdown in COVID and like was losing my mind. And then I'm like, calm down. You're alive. Comedy will come back. You're eating. You and your girl are like, I had to give myself. I was a baby, man. I was just like, it's all over. Crazy. Yeah. I had like a 10-day breakdown with booze and then stopped again. And now and then I'm like, okay, I better read this book and get to meetings with old men. So that's another story we'll get into another day. But anyway, I'm squeaky sober, going to the gym 5 days a week, back to myself, running with my Dobermans like a normal mental health patient. And the call comes in and I go, all right, what are we talking about? She goes, well, you're in the movie with Dennis Quaid. And I go, huh? And
so no audition process or nothing. These people saw you. They liked what they saw. They liked the improv. They liked that ability that you had when you were up on stage too. And people that have not seen your show need to see your show. You are insanely entertaining and funny as hell. I mean, you do a brilliant job of fusing material in with your improv and crowd work, which is fantastic, which has obviously led to this role. So boom, it's like you got the role. There's no here's your side. It's like, no, you're in the movie.
Yeah, and thank you for that. And that kind of like he had seen me improv. Sean had called me a bunch. We were tight and we were doing editing for my special where we are tight. And he kept mentioning, when we do the movie. Right. But I don't take that from my friends because I know that we all care for each other. I want to put Derek in a movie. I want to do this. We do what we can when we fit something. So yes. I wasn't really listening to him and taking it like this guy's got to put me in a movie. All of a sudden I'm in one and I'm flying out to Oklahoma and it just kept getting crazier. I had all these, they asked me to write 4 scenes. I'm like, what? I write 4 scenes. The head writer there for Reagan is like, I don't know. He is involved in comedy in some way. I knew he wasn't going to be thrilled about me writing. I played one of the Continentals. In 1954, Ronald Reagan's movie career crashed. He went from the biggest star in the world to not able to get a movie. The Frontier Casino in 1955, which Vegas was a dead spot. It was where you went to die.
Right.
He was offered a job to come work with the 4 Continentals, who would be his backup, over-the-top, sketch, sticky group. I play one of the only speaking Continentals. The other guys are like backup. I had all the roles. Pretty amazing. And I get there, and it's broken me down to one line. I don't care. I'm staying in a private hotel, bed and breakfast, with Dennis Quaid, Penelope Ann Miller, and Mino Savaro, who I walk by her room and go, oh my God, that woman's stunning. Oh my God, that's Mino Savaro. I'm embarrassed. I just stared in her room. Sorry. She goes, hi. They bought this whole place just for the stars. Sean put me in there.
Now, when was this shot? Was it shot during COVID?
August.
During lockdown because
but Oklahoma
you got
didn't know about COVID. When I landed, people were
COVID
like,
doesn't
what's that strange material on your face? And I took my mask off because people were giving me looks. Yeah. So
I've been in Oklahoma during the lockdown and they don't give a shit.
No, it was kind of freeing. It was cool. I had already had it my first time in December, so I felt safe.
Right.
But I get there, go to set. I'm squeaky, man. Life is magical. I'm perfectly running like a brand new sports muscle car, squeaky clean, miraculously. I was just living a different life than having cocktails on Thursday and Friday, eating unhealthy, like all those things that suck you out of what you love to do. And that is a part of the story, because I get there and I'm on set, makeup to like go to stage. I go into this giant theater, which is set up like 1955. We're dressed in 1955, 150 extras, major, $30 million Hollywood movie. It is probably 100. I don't even know. It was unbelievable. And Sean is this character. He's just an amazing it's the guy you want to meet when you're an actor. He's like, Butch, come here. I'm like trying to be cool. Just breathe. He brings me up on the stage in front of everyone. He's got me looking like this monster star. And he's like, all right, this is what we're going to do. And he goes, you're going to do this. I go, hey, they cut me to one line. I only have one little line, but I'm very thankful. And he goes, no, scratch that. I go, what about the writer? He goes, he's away. He goes, I want you to improv 4 scenes with Dennis. My whole body wants me to throw up and pass out. But I go, don't say a word, just stare. I just stared. And I go, yeah. And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, if Dennis Quaid is cool, I can pull this shit off. So he steps off. He's just like such an amazing life character. And I'm like breathing down all this positive energy pumps into me. And Dennis Quaid comes walking in and he's like, hey, Butch. And I was like, I waved, humbly. He's coming to the stage because we're in a theater. In this theater, and all the extras are sitting in silence, and you're looking at 1955 with Mrs. Reagan dead center on me, Penelope Miller, who I saw in Carlito's Way and fell in love. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, this is crazy. And he comes up and he goes, so Sean didn't think we needed 3 weeks of rehearsal. Do you think we can improv 3 hours together? And I was like, this guy's so cool. It's unbelievable. And I go, I think we can. I go, I'm going to follow you wherever you go. And dude, I had the most fun I ever had in comedy because he was of course he is. The guy's been working forever. And he's just, you sort of forget when you meet these guys and you put them in your own little level. But when you work with someone at these incredible high levels, my job was easy. I just followed and improv and danced. And then he said, I need something here. I would offer my comedic ideas. He would just go, cool. Okay, Sean. They'd go, action. I'm like, holy shit, I can't even keep up. It was so cool, man. And it was just an incredible experience. And then
just to show up there and not have that preparation. The preparation was literally, you know what, scrap your one line.
Yeah.
And we're going to go ahead and the writer's away. I'm like, oh boy. Because in the back of my head, the writer's going, oh no, this is not what I wrote at all. So and the fact that there's a collaborative team there that had enough vision and energy to think that this was going to work, and knowing that you were the right person to pull it off is so badass. And the fact that you were in the frame of mind that you're in
right
now, being in that level of sobriety, fit, eating healthy, having your brain dialed in.
Yeah. And I'm not even like talking about sobriety of like whatever it is you do in your life. I was able to do, if I'm a painter, if I race cars, that, if you want to be a killer, I literally had and then I got to work the audience, which comes into that moment. He goes, dude, he said, only stand-up can prepare you for this. All the brutal gigs, all the heckles, all the times you ate it, all the times you felt sweat come down your face that you didn't wipe off because you were like, fuck them. I don't want them to know I'm sweating. I'm going to let this shit fall down my face.
Sure. And,
sorry, my dogs are trying to get, into it. So, he wants me to crowd work the 50s audience. I Google 50s terminology like daddy, ankle biter, all these things. And I run the room and I improv with Penelope and Miller, Mrs. Reagan. Dude, it's so cool because you see, we think we're good. And then you work with the next triple levels ahead of you.
Right.
He stands up and improvs. I swear to you, in that moment, in my head, I'm like, I feel like I'm talking to Nancy Reagan. Like, it was bizarre how amazing they are. and I looked out and I saw this beautiful dancer they had on stage in white feathers.
Yeah.
And I just took that moment that only a stand-up would have. And I was like, this is fucking cool. And because of stand-up, I pulled it off. It's stand-up, dude. Just being beat up because we're acting every night, you know, being ready and being in that frame of mind. And it was really cool. So, yeah.
Now, did you get a chance to hang with Dennis at all? I mean, outside of that scene, was it, hey, okay, cool. Now let's go. I mean, was it like you and me, like after the in between shows, where we're out in the casino screwing around and goofing off? I mean, or was he, when he was off stage, he's like, Butch, that was awesome. See you later.
So he was in the hotel I was at, and downstairs he'd play Johnny Cash and sing with his dog. No lie, just us, like 4 of us, 5 of us.
Are you serious?
But I wanted to respect Zone, and also I didn't want to act like I didn't feel like I was able to be loose enough. I wanted to achieve what I had to do, and I wasn't going to be. I wanted to be game faced because it was such a big role for me.
Sure.
I'm not Dennis Quaid. Maybe in stand up, I knew I have a gig tonight. I can mess around, but I know what I got to do for an hour. But in acting, I'm like, I'm not going to go chill, play guitar and sing with him and then go back to my notes. It's not. But what did happen was when he was leaving stage, I had like this little kid moment. And I'm like, you know what? I want to just tell him, hey, I liked him in this. So I start down this little secret backstage road, and I can see him and his security and his assistant. And I get really far into it, where now it's looking creepy if you turn around. Like, it looks like I'm coming down. I've been coming a long time, right? And I'm like, I'm coming to get you. I'm coming to get you. I'm like, I didn't yell or talk, which would have made this really scary because I came a long way without saying, hey. And then I stopped and I went, I got to hide because if he sees me now, I look fucking insane.
Oh, man, you were committed. You were there. All you had to do was say something. I can't imagine. First off, I can't imagine you being shy and not saying something. First and foremost.
Dude, I dropped back into the curtains as creepy as I could ever been like this. And when I heard the door shut, I was like, all right, he got away. You know what I mean?
Now you used to party quite a bit.
Oh, well, yeah, like not really for stage, but my problem was like Thursday, Friday, I'd have like a cup, maybe 1 or 2 before. I'd go through cycles where I didn't drink at all during comedy.
Right.
And then what happened was I couldn't even hold 1 or 2 or 3. My body started changing. But I used to have a blast pairing it up till 5 in the morning, glass of wine after glass of wine, chase it with a double kettle soda, tell stories. Right. But then my body, thank God, was like, red alert, you know, sleep till 2 o'clock, eat a pizza, and then go to stage like this. How are you tonight? What you see before you is a fucking shaking mess of 8 hours of conversation about bullshit, 3 bottles of fucking vodka, and 5 comedians who might be dead. Like, dude, we would just tear it up and tell stories. It was innocent hanging out.
But that's what we do. I mean, that's like, you know, when you're off stage and you're hanging with people with like-minded energy and just some fun, and we're having cocktails and we're drinking whiskey, wine, vodka, whatever, and you're just kind of shooting the shit and you get caught up in the moment. You look at your watch, you're like, oh shit, you know, the sun's coming up.
Yeah, right. Whoa.
So I mean, so your body just literally, for all intents and purposes, just said, no. Your body's like, no, I can't do this. So then because we were talking about this, because it's not a quote unquote recovery thing. It was more like, you're like, my body said no. Now you have probably one of the most healthy regimens now.
Well, I always had it because I did like all high school sports, grade school sports, high school sports, martial arts my whole life, college. And then, and I kind of really didn't. I would drink in college. I was in a frat. I was on the lacrosse team. I played lacrosse after college. I drank. I worked. But I was a young man, and I wasn't like just. And then my physical stuff, I stopped. You got lazy. And the last 3 years, I've been back to, go to UFC every day, train, spar, box. I run my dogs on we run my dogs, train the dogs, and go to dogs. I added all of these events to my life that I didn't necessarily want to do, but would put me into the trajectory to achieve most success at what I love to do. And
so to kind of create a schedule that was keeping your brain occupied as opposed to thinking, and stop me if I'm wrong, but I mean, where your brain is thinking, I'm going to go run with the dogs today. I'm going to go to the UFC train. Yep. I'm going to go box. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. So my brain is in that mode, but it's not thinking about where the next drink is going to come from.
It took place of me feeling stressed and energy, like where I would think, well, I'll get to the show, I'll have a cocktail, I'll calm down, I tell jokes, I'm going to have fun. Because there's a hidden pressure, I think, that I discovered for me personally, which was, look, I lived in China, I toured the world, I worked India, Singapore, Malaysia. I've been to Hong Kong, Malaysia, Singapore, China so many times. You could drop me from an airplane. I know where I'm at. I'm going to be fine. And what happens is that stress and also chasing the finances and not having a front door and not having the normal schedule has an invisible destruction of you. The only difference between individual to individual, in my opinion, is when, not if, when it's going to catch you.
Right.
And make you tired. And, I just started making my circle small and get back to what I want to do. And, but I love booze. If you drink, enjoy. I can't. If I was allergic to shrimp or lobster, and I would go to a seafood restaurant and let everyone eat seafood, and I'd be having a blast eating steak. But I would expect, someone's not fucking throwing shrimp to try and catch my mouth open. You know what I mean? I don't drink. It's not for me. Kevin, none of it. And I love not doing it. And, but I do romanticize a ton of those old times of just staying up. But guess what? It's happening right now. I'm rambling with you after 2 cups of coffee, having a blast. And then late night, I'll hang out with the guys, or when I do hang out, or we have people over, everyone's smoking or drinking. Only difference is I'm up at 8 and I'm still cranky as fuck, but I don't wake up I don't wake up dry heaving, and I don't have to go see my car is covered in fucking a deer carcass, I don't, and 99% of the time I would run home. I would just run home and kill wine here playing Xbox. What the fuck? Why? Hey, these fucking kids got it. It was.
What is your best drunk story? I mean, you've got to have
so
pages
many.
And I mean, you could probably fill up a shoebox full of 64 gig memory cards.
Look, I'm
of
still
jacked up stories.
To apologize for all the people that have fucking put up with me as a friend. Dude, in China, I lived in Shanghai. I would get lost every night because we'd all go out, and China's the Wild West. You can do anything you want in China. Anything. You can literally go out all night as long as you're not rude to China or rude to a Chinese person, which why would you be? Why would you be rude to anyone? You can, on a scooter, I stopped at the top of a bridge, bought a tree the guy selling on top of a bridge, put it on my scooter, stopped at the liquor store, got booze, I got groceries. I'm riding with a tree, and I swear to God, my face was pushed through the tree so I could see driving. But that was my Chinese skills got really good, though. That's 4 months of living in Shanghai. In the beginning, I walked my scooter. But there in China, I'd get lost every night, and I'd call my buddy Storm, and the 5th time he said, "Butch, that's your building," I stopped calling. Those are baby stories. Let me think. I have so many.
Oh, I can imagine.
Dude, oh my God. I got arrested. One of the times I got arrested in California. The one cop was super cool. Stady shows up. I had a Boston hat on, and he said, "Take your hat off." And I had my hands in my pockets. He goes, "Take your hands out of your pockets." I had 5 shots of tequila about 20 minutes before, realized I had to drive home. Like an idiot, I thought back in 2002 that I should drive as fast as fuck to get home before the booze hits me. These are my truths, people. I ran out of gas because God has a brilliant sense of humor. You can't just push your car off of the 10 freeway at 3 a.m. and not expect to get caught. I pushed it off the freeway.
Expect to draw some attention.
I pushed it off the freeway. I go down a hill. I'm like alongside Santa Monica area by a beach somehow. I don't really remember. I remember ocean. And the tequila's coming. And I'm like, oh my God, well, I got to get out of here. So I just start walking because I see a cop coming. I am walking down a dark road, and the cop pulls up to me and he goes, yeah, did you forget something? I go, I don't know what you're talking about. I always go for walks this time of night. He goes, where do you live? I go, Pico, Sherborne. He goes, oh, you live like 30 minutes away, or 15, 20 minutes away, but you walk here? I walk here I'm smiling. I go, walk. I walk here all the time. I go, it really relieves stress. And I'm hoping maybe he goes, well, don't walk back to that vehicle. Walk all the way home. I'm praying for like a 1950s miracle where the cop's like, Houlihan, I know your sister Claire. Tell her I said hello. But no. He goes,
oh, no.
Yeah, he goes, is it your car? I go, yeah. We go back. His partner shows up. This guy's being cool. I'm like, maybe I just get a spank, or maybe I don't know what's going to happen. The other guy comes, take your hands out of your pockets, put your hands. I keep getting nervous. The tequila's coming, man. The tequila's coming so fast, I can almost speak fluent Spanish. And
listen, there is no honor amongst tequila.
There is no honor amongst peppers or tequila.
Or tequila.
Yeah. And the guy swats my hat off my head. And I totally forgot I was about to be arrested. And I was like, snapped and became a stand-up comic. And I was like, really? And I'm not proud of these words. My family's police and stadies.
Sure.
I have countless shows for them.
Right.
I had the best 7-page set shown to me from my lawyer that I ever had in my life. Before they handcuffed and clean. Did you know they can clean a patrol car with your face? They can. They rub everything.
I was unaware of that. I apparently need to go on to YouTube.
I remember telling them, you had to have that uniform, right? You needed that uniform. You so had to have that on in order to be this person. Blah, 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 blah. Dude, they let me. And he goes, are you done? It must have been 3.5 minutes. Honestly, I think I got the light. You know what I mean? I think the guy.
I was almost going to say that.
Yeah. Right.
Hey, wrap it up.
In this case, the light is an aggressive handcuffing, face against car, all the way to the tires. I remember I went from the front to the back, up the back, over the top of the car. Maybe I was fighting back. Who knows? I wasn't there. My body channeled Jesus. Jesus was inside of me.
I like the. Maybe I was fighting back.
Yeah. Jesus channeled my body. He had passed away. And I was like, I was Spanish and Irish. And I spent 4 days in the Twin Towers with a roommate named Crunch and Munch, who was there for manslaughter. And I didn't sleep. I was terrified. It was.
Your cellmate was named after a snack?
Yo, I remember being a person. Yeah, he was.
Crunch and Munch.
Yeah, and because I'd watched so much television, I said, what are you in for? And everyone got quiet, and he looked, I guess you're not supposed to say that. And he looked at me, and he was like, for manslaughter. And I go, when one human slaughters another man. I was trying to be funny, and no one fucking laughed. But I remember like 7 white dudes that looked like me. 7 like white dudes. I don't mean like 7 white gang members. I mean like 7 fucked up, fat white dudes came over. They're like, well, we got to stick together. I go, you are fucking delusional if you think I'm hanging out with you and the fucking Powerpuff Girls. I'm like, get the fuck away from me. I'll take my chances getting beaten down by the Latino gang or the black gang, and maybe the white supremacists will make me join. I have nothing to do with you.
And Crunch and Munch.
Yeah, I was with like the 6 DUI fat fucks. I go, get away, dude. Get away. You guys are drawing attention. I got 4 days to hide. I'm hiding. Dude, I would hide. All hell would break loose, and I'd stand like I was wallpaper. I would just like stand there. I wouldn't breathe. I didn't go to the bathroom. I didn't drink water. I didn't sleep. 4 days. 4 days I didn't go to the bathroom. 4 days, dude. I sat there. I prayed. I held the Bible. I was like, I will change my ways. Please, Lord, come to me. And Crunchy Munch was like, I could feel him moving down there. And I'm like, oh, my Lord, don't take me. Don't take me. Don't take me. All because of tequila, which is
how did you end up for 4 days? Was it a matter of you not posting bond or nobody
Guess what?
found you? I mean, how did it end up being a 4-day sentence?
Because I talked shit to that state trooper. He said to me, I'm going to teach you a lesson. So they hid me in the system. They hid me through the whole system. Yep. And on the 3rd day, my family and the lawyer found me. And I'm like, what is going on? And I got my call out. My aunt was like, they're hiding you because you threatened that cop. I was hammered, and I just said, I hope we see each other in a mall someday. And because of the 9/11 terrorist acts, he put me in and charged me as a terrorist.
Oh.
Yep. So, well, look, honestly, I deserved it. I'm totally cool with it. I've made amends with all state troopers love the world. I've done so many shows and told my story so many times. And you know, I'm in good standings. Look, those guys have let me go for so much crazy shit in my life that was I paid up some karma. I'm good. But the 3rd day, my lawyer got everything dropped, everything.
Right.
The sheriffs were walking me out laughing. They opened up a garage door, shoved me in, shut it. Here comes that state trooper putting leather gloves on. And he goes, did you think I forgot? He pulls out a knife. He cuts my bracelet. He goes, let's do it all over again. They put me in. Yeah, dude. I begged him. I even had a tear in my eye. I go, dude, I'm a good person. I had a bad night. I swear to God. I was like a little Boy Scout. I was like, don't put me in there. Crunch and Munch wants to get married. Dude, I was begging. I was fucking begging in the garage. He put me back in. This is the only thing that happened. I got handcuffed. They're so swamped. I'm sober now. I'm putting my comedy work together. The guy in charge of everybody being filtered through, like the Ellis Island of the prison system, is swamped. I sit there with my hands folded, no bullshit, while chained to the ground are 2 dudes trying to have sex. I'm not lying. They get caught. All hell's breaking loose. The guy at the top of this little area where hundreds of people are filtering through keeps looking at me, and he goes, why are you fucking here? And who are you? And why are you staring at me? I go, I'm getting ready to be released. I don't know what the holdup is. I just put it out there, right? He goes, what do you need? They have to mental health check you out, which I thought I might not pass.
Well, you're in for another 4 days.
Dude, he grabs me and yanks me into this back room with the doctor who's covered in stacks of papers with his hair all fucked up. He's like, do you want to kill yourself? I go, no. Do you want to leave? Yes. Are you going to get a job? Yes. Are you blah, blah, blah? Yeah, yes, yes. Okay. Boom. I'm out. Dude, they let me out like a giant U-turn circle out the front door. I'm hiding from those sheriffs. I saw them over to the right. I get out. I run as fast as I can. I don't know if you know where Twin Towers is in California, but anyone who knows where I ran to. I ran straight into the hood, dude, to hide with my people, to hide. And I ran. There was this dude working on his car that was falling apart. I swear to God, I had like $60. I go, can you get me to Hollywood? Can you get me to Hollywood? He goes, what are you doing here, man? You shouldn't be in this. I go, please. I go, I just got out of Twin Towers. He goes, did you break out? I go, no.
How funny. You got to show documentation, your release papers to a guy in the hood.
Dude, he loved me.
To get a lift to Hollywood. That's hysterical.
He goes, you look really fucked up. I go, 4 nights. He goes, you only did 4 nights? He goes, you look this bad? He goes, I'll give you a ride, dude. He goes, give me 20 for gas. I got in this shitty fucking lowrider. A lowrider. This fucking tattooed animal was like my brother. I would cook him breakfast for the rest of my life. He drove me all the way to Hollywood, told me stories, was cool as fuck. I got out. I have not used a bathroom in 4 days. I went up to the bathroom in my shower. I was like, I appreciate the door closes, toilet paper. Dude, done. That's one of many disgusting stories I have in my soul.
How many of those does Carla know, your girlfriend?
Carla's cool, man, because she was the lead singer of a rock band for 20 years.
Oh, so she's seen it.
She's seen it all, but she was like, she had that voice. She got second on Latin Idol and then was the lead singer of a rock band at 18.
Right.
So she was sort of like, she was in a family life while singing. So she wasn't wandering aimlessly, like going open mic to do spots. And then in between, financial despair and loneliness, I gave myself an excuse to have 5 shots and try and run the car home on empty. Like whatever, she had a different, she was living a little, but she was around rock stars.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, she was around rock stars, so she saw what was going on, but she still had that level of responsibility and living a regular life. So it's almost like you could have like she was a drone above this.
Yeah, she was
could see the chaos going on in the prison rec yard and go, wow, I'm not a part of this, and I'm out of here.
Yeah, the music world does this better. They travel in a group. They grab Derek and they go throw him on the bus. They all lay on you till you stop fighting, and then they get back to drinking. You don't get to go out and wander off by yourself,
right?
Or think you're going to go to, Tony's bar or Frank's bar, or your own little individual adventures. Their debauchery happens under an umbrella, it seems,
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Well, there's a code that they have. I mean, they take care of each other.
Yeah, in comics, we're such individual. We always end up alone a lot, or a bunch of us getting in trouble at a show after a show.
Right.
Where the owner is like, so many. I'm lucky. I have like 2 horrible only on stage because I never drank near stage. But when you drink 5 days and that stage show comes and you're talking to yourself. Me and Kevin Downey Jr., I love meeting my friends that love to drink. It was amazing because you're like, in your head, you think you're only going to have a couple, but you don't realize it's like a 6-day binge that you should watch on the show Intervention, So,
so right.
Him and I created our own in an improv happy hour that was a joke that somehow we took for real. I was like, 5:30, 6 o'clock every day here in Atlantic City in your room is happy hour. I bring vodka and mixers.
Right.
You have ice and whiskey and mixers. I go every day. He goes every day. I go every day at 5:45, happy hour, your room before the show at 8. He goes, I heard that. I heard it's incredible happy hour. Every day at 7:45, we had happy hour. Every day. Dude, we would crawl out of the Comedy Stop to the Irish Bar Rerot in the back door. They would hand us like a get ready drink, so they didn't know we were shaking from the night before over there.
Right.
We would drink the drink, come in, do okay until like Saturday late show. I remember being up there for like 16 minutes, and it was like someone was closing my internal curtain, and I went, "Gonna be an early show. I'm in big trouble. Good night." And I came off. And Kephart was like, "What the fuck just happened?" And I just started becoming. He goes, "Are you annihilated?" I go, "It was a long week, Bob. You can take the check I owe you." He goes, "Oh my." He goes, "I'm thankful you pulled off 18 minutes." He goes, "But you're fucked. I'm pissed. I don't want to talk to you for a while." Bob was a drinker, sort of cool,
right?
But it happened before anybody's social media followed me. It happened before this kind of world, where I would have been everywhere rambling. Does anyone know if the light's on? Could someone tell me it's 40? I'm making like interior jokes as I fade. And, that I only had like 2 where I really fucked up in public. I used to do it on my days off, and then I would do like every 6 months or every 7 months. So waving the flag to booze, it's good, dude. But I have scars.
I'm sure of that. You ended up bouncing around all over the place from Jersey. You traveled the country, obviously, working all over from Vegas to Atlantic City, everywhere in between, California. And then you were talking about Shanghai, China, Japan, Malaysia, I think also. How did that even come about? What was that?
In comedy, you make friends. A lot of people just don't survive it. They disappear. 99% will just quit, which is advantageous and also sort of, a bummer. But those that continue, that climb, that are the really funny killers are not afraid to offer you work. Paulo Gara,
great guy.
Yeah, and he was a big AG. Tom, God, I'm trying to remember who else. A bunch of guys were already in Asia, and they threw Hong Kong was just beginning, and they threw my name into the pot, and I got brought out to Hong Kong. My improv was getting some buzz. I went out to Hong Kong, did really well. He loved me, started bringing me out regularly to Hong Kong, and then bouncing me to Singapore, where I would do a show called Masala, which was an international show, swamped in the heart of Singapore. Everybody and their mother-in-law going to these shows. And then I went to Kuala Lumpur, and Malaysia was opening their first ever comedy club. They flew me out, which was a great honor to do it with Jonathan Atherton out of Australia, who literally is a comedy savant, speaks like 9 languages, brilliant, one of us, loves to drink, can control it. Just smoking weed and drinking with him and talking about life, he would make me go to sleep. I was like, I'm going to bed. And he's like, why? I'm like, he would drink me back around. It would be like, I'd be like, dude, we have a show in 10 minutes. We drank through it. We're back. We're back. Like, yeah.
It's a real long commercial break.
And he would get up and look pristine and murder it. And just, I was blessed with those worlds, doing well, but I wasn't drinking during shows. And I would wait. I still sort of collectively waited. I wouldn't drink for a month or whatever, sort of manage, because it's so hard to resist to dive into it and to celebrate. But, I was murdering and doing really well, and my improv was doing well. And I love people. I love traveling. My Malaysia tour got me a guest starring role on What Is There, Jimmy Fallon, Heesery, oh my God, Heesery booked Singapore, and then Harith Iskandar saw me in Malaysia. He has like the Jimmy Fallon show. Harith Iskandar, huge, like one of the most popular comedians in the world. Harith loved me, kind, amazing guy, brilliantly funny. Biggest star in Malaysia, one of the biggest in the Muslim world, brought me on. I'm the first non-Muslim American to be on a TV show. I was with the deputy, prime minister of Malaysia. I talked about everything. I improv. Most of the room was covered. They loved me. It was amazing. I came from a good place and just had a blast. And that part of the world really took, I did well over there. So I ended up being offered a residency in Shanghai as the first American stand-up to live and work in China.
Now, weren't these shows, or mostly the audiences, a lot of them are expats, correct?
Well, in Malaysia, no.
Okay.
In Malaysia, it was like, really, that show is like 20%, like it was 100% Malay. And then it drifted back to 20% expat, which is interesting because Hong Kong, like 60% expat.
Right.
Shanghai was like 60% expat. Now that 40% was true because in China on the mainland, Hong Kong is international cotton candy popcorn. Anyone could go there. You wouldn't know you were in China. Hong Kong was the place before politics changed recently. You could land there, with no travel experience, have the time of your life, meet someone from France, meet someone from Iran, Germany. You'd meet Hong Kong people, Chinese people. You can,
Right.
you're in, talk about drinking Hong Kong. They go from the bars to 7-Eleven dressed to the nines, and they get all their cocktails and Cuban cigars from the 7-Eleven. And the corner of 7-Eleven is a busy bar of international conversation, which for this soul,
That's so cool.
yeah, it was cool till I couldn't keep it. It was cool. It was cool until a real side note, I locked myself out of my room naked in Hong Kong and had to go downstairs naked with my balls in my hands in the elevator to the front desk. And dude, Chinese dudes are so fucking cool. They won't they know you're they looked at me like, you should kill yourself after this, right? But
where was your buddy Crunch and Munch when you needed him?
But dude, they didn't call me out on it. They're like, here's your room card, Mr. Bradley. You seem to have locked yourself out. And I was like, I apologize for pulling the fire alarm. Hopefully they weren't too upset. Could I have another bottle of Cabernet sent to my room? I'm going to take a bath and call it a night. And they're like, okay, went up, let myself in. And the owner, dude, there's some class level that China doesn't get credit for. They just say things like, are you okay? Will this happen again? Okay, no worries. And I'm like, that did more shame on my soul than someone going.
That's almost like that's like a parent, who's just calm and very zen.
Yeah. So
we're like, oh, will this happen again?
So
no. Okay, good.
All of this, I go to China, okay, which the debauchery came to a head because they're just like, you can do anything you want 24 hours a day, no matter what. And dealing with some personal loss in my life, but none of it is an excuse for me. It's just the adventure that it was.
Right.
And I had my own show there. The guys, Andy and Turner, were incredible. Paulie, they were incredible what they gave me. They gave, this free reign. The audiences became really primary Chinese because Chinese youth speak English better than most Americans.
Sure.
So we were hip. They're watching someone speak about their emotions and their mind and freedom of speech. And the trick is, which is sad that you have to tell people this, just don't speak negatively about China or politics.
Right.
I don't even have that in my heart. I'm trying to make sure I can get this fucking entity to abide by his own daily laws. Shower, eat, drink water, go to work, be funny. I'm not going to lecture you on how to run a country. You know what I mean? I'm trying to balance my checkbook and my little debit card that's got $342 in it. I don't need to tell you how to run your world. So I did well, dude. I did well.
I mean, you would think that would be pretty common sense knowledge to have going in there, but you've got to tell that to people because even when you've done multiple USO tours, I mean, they say, look, you do these shows, they go, don't talk negative about the president, don't talk negative about the army, and don't talk negative about whatever situation we're in. And you would think, well, yeah, I'm not going to do that. But there's so many knuckleheads that actually would immediately go up there and think they had some kind of a podium to stand on.
An agenda, right.
An agenda, and then look like an ass and then get sent back home.
What I've learned is that is part of the American gift. I would come home from Afghanistan after about 3 weeks. My family would go, well, you weren't in real danger. You were only in Afghanistan. You weren't in Iraq. I'm like, well, I've been to both, and I got to tell you, Afghanistan's pretty good at scaring the fuck out of you. But, okay, so you're so American that you don't know anything.
Right.
And the best thing I ever heard about a USO tour was Bob Hope. They're in Vietnam, him and Marilyn Monroe, early part, tail end of World War II or Vietnam. I can't remember which, but the story's the same. They're in a hospital with wounded soldiers, and she starts to cry. And Bob Hope is, hey, how are you? Everyone thinks he's a squeaky angel. He's a stand-up. He grabbed her, took her outside of the hospital room and went, get your shit together. You're not here to cry. No one cares about your emotions or feelings. I'm Bob Hope, the person they believe me to be, and you're Marilyn Monroe. Save all of this for when we leave. you're Marilyn Monroe. Go in there and be Marilyn Monroe. And I have to be Bob Hope. And when we leave, we can do all this other stuff. And she was like, okay, Bob. And she went in and fucking crushed. All the guys are laughing. She's playing. She's in the hospital.
Sure.
And that lesson is what you take when you go to Afghanistan or Iraq. You're there saying thank you for your American life. And these others are there 24/7 risking their own souls and life. They can't get a call out. They got to walk, 5 city blocks to get a phone to see if they get internet across
Right.
the rubble against the heat, against the cold. They're scared. They're lonely. They've got kids. They got family. They don't want to fucking hear about your bullshit problems. And don't even, and this is from me to every comic out there, don't volunteer for this shit if you're going to get there. And I understand that you're afraid. I was afraid too. But don't go there and say no. Don't go. Say no now. Let other people go that are really going to do all the fobs, fly out, convoy out, and by God's will, we get home and we're safe. But those guys need that. They don't want to hear you go, I'm not in a convoy. I'm not going here. That doesn't feel safe. Guess what? This isn't fucking HBO. It's real. Don't go because you're only letting them down and they need you. So don't go.
No, and you can be in way more danger in a crappy part of town here in Las
I'm from
Vegas
Atlantic
or
City.
anywhere. I grew up in Detroit. You grew up in New Jersey. We have seen shitty parts of the country.
Right.
Shitty parts of the world. I'm like, okay, I've been way more scared here in the States in some spots.
Right.
In some bar gig that I've done in in the middle of nowhere, Arkansas, and I'm like, well, there's a good chance that I'm gonna not make it out.
I left the comedy stop in Atlantic City, like 8 blocks from where I grew up. Played at my grandmother's home. Comedy stop. Walk out of the corner. I'm walking down a city block. At this corner is one of the greatest pizza drinking bars on the earth, Tony's Baltimore Grill. The food is unbelievable. The bread is unbelievable. And they will pour booze down your face if you're passed out. If you leave a note, keep spilling it on my face. They will.
By the way, give me the address of this place afterwards. I'll take pictures and send them to you. I know you don't want to go there now, but I can live this through you.
Guess what?
You can live this through me, I should say.
My skills are Tony's Baltimore Grill during the day with the family, and I'm escorted out. I miss you, Tony.
I love it.
But I had a couple of young guys come at us with guns to rob us within that city block. It was so funny because I was so local, and I coming out of the comedy world, I go, hey, are you fucking robbing me? I grew up like 2 miles from here. My grandma lives there. I go, my whole family went to Atlantic City High School. I go, my cousin is this, my cousin is that. I go, are you fucking robbing me? And they're like, whoa, you don't look local anymore. We didn't know. And so we walk past them. The waitresses are shaking and teary. And as we walk into the door, they're like, did you really just scold them? And then it hit me. I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. Well, I almost got us killed. But fuck, we're here. Let's get some drinks. Let's order a pizza.
You are, dude, I could talk to you forever. Before we get out of here, though, I do want to, you have hands down one of the best improvisational crowd work skills on the fly thinking that I've seen anybody do on stage. Hands down.
Agree.
Seriously.
I completely
Seriously.
agree.
You should absolutely agree. ButchBradleyComedy.com is his website. He's at the Stratosphere Thursday through Monday, 10 p.m. every night. He's also here in Las Vegas all the time over at the Comedy Cellar, over at the Rio. And you're all over the place. Again, ButchBradleyComedy.com.
Mention Derek's show, and I will comp you in.
Oh, please do. A drink with Derek. Butch will get you into the Strat. Also,
for you and Derek, and you come to the show.
Perfect. Before we go, though, I got you played the game Cards Against Humanity before?
I think I know them. Come on.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to ask some random questions here, and you just fill it in however you want.
Okay.
All right. After the earthquake, Sean Penn brought blank to the people of Haiti.
He brought Madonna, but not today's Madonna. He brought 1984 Madonna in her little leather coat. She was chewing gum, and she took over the land of Haiti, and she was the leader for quite some time. But people don't know that. And alien and UFO enthusiasts have been trying to show this to the world, but the FBI hasn't released the information that Madonna is actually the leader of Haiti.
Brilliant. You won't find that on Google. Here we go. Question number 2. Daddy, why is mommy crying?
Because she drank all the booze and didn't share any. And if you were a good kid, you would have pulled the bottle out of her hand and brought it over to your passed out father next to the couch. By the way, people, this was my possible future if I kept drinking. Back to the kid. I really didn't like him. I went over his spelling homework, and he kept telling me, Dad, I'm 17. It's algebra.
Third question. What never fails to liven up the party?
Cocaine.
If you were the leader of a cult, what would you use as your elevator pitch to get people to join the cult of Butch Bradley?
Buffet. We're going to have a 24-hour buffet. All you can eat all the time. We're not going to fast. We're not going to diet. Buffet. Sex, eat, sex, eat. And I'll tell you, most of these cults don't want to offer you guys food. You're hungry. There's too many of us. All we're going to do, actually, I am joining up with Denny's. It's going to be called the House of Denny's. We're also bringing in 1984 Madonna as a sort of a joint effort. And I'm not talking about today's Madonna. 1984 Madonna was kept in a capsule. She loves buffets. I love buffets. We're not going to have Sean Penn. He's cranky. He's always trying to save the world. But we're going to have her chewing bubble gum, buffets, and an area for those of you who want to have sex with 1984 Madonna. I apologize, but it's possible it can happen. She's a very hungry woman.
Join the cult of Butch Bradley.
Join.
The Stratosphere here in Las Vegas, the Butch Bradley Comedy Experience, Thursday through Monday, 10 p.m. every night. Follow him online, butchbradleycomedy.com. Check out his special on Amazon Prime, live from Las Vegas, and the Reagan movie coming out here with Dennis Quaid. Dude, you crack me up.
Thank you, brother.
So damn funny. butchbradleycomedy.com. I got to just play Cards of Humanity, Cards Against Humanity with you for fucking days.
I apologize to Madonna, and Derek Richards is a brilliant man. Make sure you guys follow him and stay on point. You murdered it at the Cellar, and I look forward to you coming back over to the show, bud.
Oh, looking forward to it, man. Take care, brother. Always good talking to you.
Thank you, brother.
Listening to A Drink with Derek. Find out when Derek is appearing near you by checking out DerekRichards.com. See you next time for A Drink with Derek.